everybody. So the kids are in bed again. Tuesday, a wonderful day to go into live streaming. Let's get this closer, shall we? Yeah, how are you all doing? Let's see. I don't have everything set up yet because I had some technical issues, so please bear with me. I need to set up some things. Let's see. There we have it. That's one. And that's two. A lot of tests. You are correct. I needed to test something for my live stream so that it will show up properly when I press on your name. So when I do this, it will pop up over there on the screen. You see below there? And now it isn't as long as you can see in my other test. It was a very lengthy one. Tony sent me yeah, it was a lot of private learning on streams. Yeah, you need to get used to some things, right? So and test stuff out, and then you know how things work out. Luckily, I'm smart enough to at least know that I'm testing something and that I don't put in some strange things, like not suitable for work kind of things or whatsoever. But yeah. Let's see what do we have today. Yes, you are the only one today. Usually Tony joins you as well. Tony joins, and also sometimes Kimberly, sometimes Mohi. But yeah, it happens from time to time, right? So let's start with the Greenshift updates. Let's see what they have. The touchpad also works again. Put my screen a little bit smaller, as you can see. The reason being that I hope that it doesn't take too much space, and looks quite well. Looks quite nice. Maybe a little bit tinier as well. That looks better. So for the updates, Igor has shared a update that will change the way we use workflows and set up our styles and our sites. I think it's quite visible. Maybe the text isn't readable, but it's fine. We just need to focus on the video. And here he shows what is in there. Oh, let's first start at the start. So that's what we also saw last week, where we have a brand main colors set. Ooh, there's some extra greenshift color for patterns. So those are colorful patterns you can use, I guess. And then you go straight into homepage settings. And with homepage settings, you can also select a custom page. Ooh, that's nice. And you can create one as well. Then there's a setup. And here you can import this. Oh, that's nice. That is from the Rehab theme. I don't know if you know it. But some of those I recognize from the Rehab theme. It's also developed by excuse me. I'm a little bit sick. My kids were sick last week and now I'm too. But it's from their Rehab website. And initially they created everything within Elementor, and then some of them are already ported to Gutenberg using their own Greenshift theme and Greenshift plugin. So you can now import those pages as well, as we could see in this example that he posted. And it's pretty nice, actually, that you have some kind of templates already available for you. We'll speed up. This is nice as well. You can select what kind of header you have in there. Now, there was also a discussion because of a post of today. Let's this one. And in the discussion, it was mentioned that somebody would like to have a professional. Was it this guy? Let me zoom in a little bit that you can also read along. Yeah, there was this one. There should be a professional version where you don't have any paddings or margins and spacing predefined. Well, that's how default HTML works, but I can see that perhaps you would like it to be 0 at first, so that everything starts at a base level and then be upgraded little by little. And this is what he announced today, actually. That was my next thing that I wanted to talk about, is that he is going... there will be a major update, and this will be the new default theme from GreenShift. So no more black theme, but a white theme. This also matches what you see when you create other pages. So the background color matches the background color that is used here as well. And I like they show the technologies they use. I don't know what W3C is. This is a... I know what W3C is, but what I mean is that I don't know if this is a technology that you can use. It's like a guideline, right? But fair enough. They're using it. And the previous design will be available. So soon we will see this workflow that I was showing here that will be updated. And yeah, there will be all sorts of header patterns, footer patterns. I like it. One gripe I have with this version they show right here is that you don't have a visual, immediate visual like snippet or just a thumbnail that you can see what kind of footer you will see. I mean, just give an indication will be good enough, I guess. But yeah, it's already an improvement from what we have right now. You can also select what you would like to create, so that's also nice. And then you have extra template settings like single post templates, predefined templates, nice. It would be nice that you can, besides templates, also import your own one. Or perhaps that should be on the page 1. You can import all your predefined settings for your setup. I guess that's it. And yeah, this is the next one that he announced. And he asked, do you have questions that you can solve or don't understand in FSE? So if you have questions of FSE, you can also add your questions in here. I will put a link in the description. Only one person watching, but if you're watching later, then you can also see this link. Question, you use GreenShift FC theme only? Yes, I do. Teet Bergmann. Teet? I don't know, how do you pronounce your name? Are you Dutch? If you are, then is it Teet Bergmann? Or is it English? Or is it another language? But yes, I do use GreenShift theme, FSE theme only for now. I am interested into Ollie theme as well. But haven't got time to get around and try to use it. I really like the patterns that are already available. Almost. So yeah, that's it for the GreenShift. Today, what do we want to do? We want to continue on where we left off after we log in. So one moment, please. I will switch up my screen. And try to log in. So now you can see my serious face on how I frantically press buttons to log in to my website. Now I can switch back. So there we go. Logged in, and we have some updates available. Fluid forms and GreenShift. Awesome. Do we get the new workflow already? I wonder. I mean, he said the major update will be available soon, but how soon is soon? Let's try and see. Would it be in theme options? I guess not. It's not available. Else I would. Secondly, I would expect it to be here, and isn't here. So I guess it's not available yet. In the message that I sent in Estonian. Ah, welcome. I've been there, Estonia. It was pretty nice. It was for a road trip I did with my friends. We have fond memories of Estonia. We went to a lots of bars. We were young back then, long time ago. This is about how you can create a mega menu. I know that someone in the Facebook group asked, how could you create a mega menu? But yeah, it's inside here. So perhaps it's something I could send to him later after the stream. Excuse me. Still a little bit under the weather. Let's go to Drive Capital website. So this is the Drive Capital website we tried to recreate, and I think we got a very infinite scrolling, always beautiful. We got a pretty nice end. I mean, some things aren't as nice as on the Drive Capital website, but that is because they have, I guess, a dedicated team to create the nice graphics they have, or at least bought some good stock footage. Old Town, yeah, nice, yeah, Old Town. Oh, the memories, the fun memories. I have a little left of those, of the places. It was just too much fun. So yeah. Today we're going to focus on we should actually fix this at one point else as well, but I want to focus on making this responsive. So let's see. I think I went to Estonia. When was it? About 10 years ago or something. It was a very long time ago. Maybe not 10 years. 6 years ago. Hey, look, you're not alone anymore. There are 2 people watching. I don't know who the other person is. Could you say hi, other person who has joined the live stream? I'm very curious who it is. So let's see how we can upgrade this to be mobile friendly or responsive, because there's a difference between mobile friendly and responsive, of course. And I don't just want it to be mobile friendly. Let's see if we can do both for a little bit. Now, because we are working on a mobile website, we can make this the mobile size, and we have a big space working here. Unfortunately, it doesn't work as I hoped. But yeah, this is good enough to somewhat indicate how it looks. I mean, this one needs to shrink down a lot. And there's a lot of spacing on top. So let's fix that first. Unexpectedly, I'm just using what's given in Gutenberg. You can also go around and try to not use media queries and just use viewer height for the spacing. But at the moment, I can think of a very nice way to do that. So I'm going with the old media query one. Let's put it in private browser so we don't see our admin bar. See, that's why I want to see the private browsing. That's the funky thing, right? When you create something in the editor, sometimes there's a little bit of a change on what you see in the actual website. It's always the case, even with Elementor or with Wix or whatever tool you use, there's always something that doesn't work as expected. That it's not what you see is what you get. But luckily, we're smart enough that we know that that's an issue, and we can just play around with the values and see how we can fix things. So I think the letters needs to be smaller to view with. They use the clamp port. It would be nice if it would just copy and paste the clamp instead of me having to enter it. Yeah, you can fix everything with custom CSS. But a little bit of a challenge for me personally is that if you can code and you want to do it, why use WordPress? I mean, you can make every basic skeleton work with CSS, and then you don't need to add anything in your Gutenberg, because you can use the default core blocks and don't add any of the plugins. It will be the most fast way of using WordPress, and if you can add CSS yourself, then why use anything else, right? So it's a little bit of a challenge as well to just use what's been given. Now, I do admit I haven't done that always, but for example, I had an issue with using the Google fonts that didn't show for the ease. You say for the ease. Yeah, I can understand. I mean, you don't have to build a skeleton for it, right? So you don't have to build the skeleton. I say skeleton, I mean the HTML. So it's way quicker to build, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's something that I personally feel like it's not worth it. You have the experience. Whoa. I mean, if you want to really make it easy, then just use what's available, right? Don't try to fix it on your own. Else you should use another plugin. No kidding. You're right. I also was an ex-front-end developer, and I stopped doing that because I found it boring, because you have to type in all the HTML and do all the JavaScript stuff, and you can't focus on making awesome things. And that's what you can do with WordPress, for example. And even nowadays, also with the animations that GreenShift provides out of the box, that's just amazing. Have made websites about 26 years almost. Wow. That's almost as long as I did. I'm now 36 years old. Let's see. Perhaps I can show my first website that I made, because it is on Outlook. It's in my Hotmail drive. Let's see if I can find it. This is just a trip down memory lane. By the way, if you think that I'm very, not focused, that can be right when I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. I tend to not be focused at all. I don't want to have that. Let's see, Project X, sites. Those also my old websites. Ooh, yeah, there they are. Ooh, the good old 2007. It's almost 20 years old. And this was the first time I was working at a company. And then you had to use tables within tables to create something. So the layout wasn't possible at all. If you want to do it, if you wanted to do it properly, you had just like a repeating background going from top to bottom, and then you had your website layout, and you basically just built something around it if possible. Was it 2007? CSS. If introduction. When was it? When was it introduced? I was in 1995. What? So yeah, it was available, I guess. the floats that didn't work at all in different browsers. Then you have to make an exception for Firefox and also for Edge, which was named Internet Explorer back then. And you had Opera and Netscape. But yeah, these were the kinds of websites I made. This was one of my first websites, Celix.nl. It was inspired by Final Fantasy. There was a Celix tower, and this was for my Albert Heijn I was working at. There was a community that I created. Ooh, Gamers United. I created a logo for it back then. I was a very young website creator, as you can see. Fun trip down memory lane. I should remake those, actually. How would I make them look nowadays? Let's see if there's anything else in there that would be fun to share. Want to see a very young me? Looks the same as my Facebook picture right now. All right, I digress too much. Sorry. I'm sorry if I am boring you. Let's continue on with creating the Drive Capital website. So they have a lot more spacing there in the header, so let's add that as well. If you, by the way, have your first website you made and could show it, I would love to see it. And I hope you don't mind that I show it on stream as well. Ooh, let me also tick on another light because I see I'm pretty dark. So there we go. Much brighter Lex. Hello, there I am. By the way, the reason that I had a lot of tests was because there was an update for the app that I use that shows this kind of pop-ups, and my settings went away, so I needed to test it before stream to see if everything works. Let's see. Are we going back to the same size as we had before? I think this is a caching issue, which is unfortunate. It's only the first section that is a little bit awkward. So there we go. We've added the spacing for the first section. Now the next is the Drive Capital. Well, theirs looks a lot better in small versions. Ooh, there's also something going on with a lot of spacing somewhere. I guess this has to do with my footer. Ooh, this one, yeah, the spacing, the text indent is off. Ooh, and there's something. A lot of fixing needs to be done. Nice. So next up is the drive section. Looks a little bit off as well. Let's see if we can fix that. It looks very off. It looks awful. Do we need to change our 48? 6. And perhaps we need to add a padding as well, or a margin to the right side. Is there some spacing that's set here? It is. It does have a default spacing of 2 viewer width. This is the spacing we set here. So that will be fine. Only we need to fix our heading. And this can still be 0. Let's see what happens. That's the right side. We don't want to move it to the right. We want to move it to the left. And why do we have to move it to the left at this much? Is that because of the absolute position we have? Let's see. Yes, minus 60. So nicely centered. There we go, and then we can change our font size again, perhaps a little. Well, this looks awkward here. It can be that it will be looking nicely on the website, and it does. Now, I do think their video looks nicer than ours, but hey, what can you do? You have to roll with the things you have. And here, 0.75. We have a lot of spacing. Where does the spacing come from? Let's go to inspect. So we can see that the spacing is coming from our header. Or is that, yes, it's the container with a height of 75 viewer height, which is 75% of the view height. So we need to change that here to be actually empty. Maybe we can make it 20. This does look good. Yep. Now the next part will be the scrolling. Is it still too high? See, I think so. I think we need to decrease the height here as well, even further. That's too much. So like to have a nice round number. And if we later want to add the animations, perhaps 13 would be good enough then. The downside of doing it this way is that when you increase it, yeah, it doesn't scale well. This has to do, unfortunately, with the way we set this up. So perhaps we need to rethink how this is done. And the reason we set a viewer height of 75 is because else we got in trouble. Let's see if we reset it. Refresh. And when it finally loads, come on, there we go. Then it will not show the video. It will not load at all. Ooh, what's happening here? So there was already a server down at YouTube because, or something that has been uploaded because I didn't know if I could stream today. When I go to YouTube Studio, it throws me out. And now my website looks like it's not working. So what's happening here? Sorry again. And what are you working on, viewers that are watching? That's strange. Let's set this to... there we have it again. It's working, it's alive. Let's set this to 75. Should I put on a little music? Let's see if we can add something. I mean, it's very quiet in here, if you ask me. Let's see if I can add it in. Or if you don't prefer music, just let me know. Let me know right now. No. I do not even know how I can add audio from my desktop. So that's a nice thing to do next time. Resanda sounds a little bit like an anime character. You're repasting your laptop. Ooh, was it broken? And thank you that you're watching me while repasting your laptop. When I was younger, I didn't need to repaste it. I just used duct tape. But nowadays I'm more proficient than that. So you're repasting your laptop. So you've opened it up quite possibly and then are applying thermal paste to it. Am I right? So yes, that's what it is. Wow, nice. I did it a very long time ago. Just cracking open your laptop and then have a go. Are you have you done that before or? Oh, sorry, my nose is itching so much. Oh. I want to spare you the awful sounds of nose rubbing. Let's continue. You know me from the Greenshift group. Awesome! You're not the first one to join, but it's very nice of you to join. Have you ever tried using Greenshift? I like that you're very proficient with opening up laptops and repasting it. Reminds me of my younger self. Back in the old days when I was younger. Still am quite young, but perhaps not if I have to believe my daughter. Then she thinks that daddy is old. That's the issue. We set them both to position 0. And actually, we only have to have one position 0. Because the other one can determine our height. Refresh. There we go. Now it is as we want. So we're using the height of the heading advanced block to define our height. And the video box are just positioning in. You're rebuilding a web shop for a small company. Nice. That's always nice to do. So you're just rebuilding a web shop and doing some technical stuff. So you're actually in the right place. I mean, that's why this channel is called Taggy's Reviews. Sometimes they can be very supportive, yeah. I don't know if everybody over as well. Oh. Yeah, that's better. Playing around a little bit with my with the tools that I use for live streaming. Let's continue. Oh, I'm so very distracted very quickly. I'm so sorry. Please do not leave me. I'm kidding. I think it's fine, right? Right? Let's see the next section. So we have a nice. So this one is fixed. It doesn't look very good. But is it good enough? I don't know. Yep, I'm using OBS. How did you know? I mean, I'm Dutch, so if it is free, I'm going to use it. If I have to pay for it, no way. So I think we need to fix this on desktop as well. And by the way, a little bit kidding, because nowadays I do purchase sometimes some things. But I just trying out live streaming for the last couple of weeks. Been doing it since, I think, start of January. So that is now 4 or 5 weeks. So 4 or 5 times streaming using OBS. Liking it, by the way. It does have some suggestions on upgrading my bitrate speed. I've looked into the settings as well, but no way finding how I could do that well enough. Oh yeah, let's see. I was looking at this. This still can be 47, but what I wanted to look at is the bigger one. And does this still have a position absolute? Yes, it does. So let's set it to relative again. And refresh it. And there we go. Ooh, this looks weird. I think it's cutting off right here. And this is because of our -60 margin, so we could align it here. So we have to add a padding on the right side to make up for that. And that is because of not using a very nice font. You can also set this one to 0. Then it would also be fixed. But then the text will not be nicely aligned. And that can also be fixed by setting the... Oh, it was set on this one. Thank you for saying that you like this page. Is that the answer on the question? I've been working on GreenShift specifically. Last year I started a affiliate website, and that didn't go well. Affiliate marketing website. I just want to try it out. It was because yeah, I just like to experiment with some projects on the side. And there I started with Rehab and Elementor, but in the end I didn't like to use Elementor because it was pretty bloated and it uses a lot of extra divs that wasn't necessary. So I was looking for a different kind of way. Then I found Cadence and Gutenberg and used that for a while. And then I found the block theme And since I was inside of the re-up theme kind of way of working, I noticed they use green shifts. So in the end, they announced a theme green shift and a plugin to green shift. So I'm using them for, I think, a year. And since August, I've been using them more seriously just for my private projects and side projects. And now, since January, I've been experimenting with recreating the Drive Capital website. So it's this website. I do like all the animations, and we recreated a lot of things for them. You can see the previous live streams as well. You can see exactly where I started. I also did a live stream where I redid some things. So yeah, since January, we've been busy with recreating this one. A little less than a month we've been working on this. So yeah, I think this one is okay for now. And let's see. Aha, this is the image. And it doesn't want to play nicely because it's already in our viewport. So that's a next thing we should take a look at. I think this one looks good enough. Perhaps we can make it smaller for mobile. In the sentence that there will be less spacing. That's one thing I dislike about the carousel, that there's a lot of spacing still left. You can't remove that one because it does equal space everything out. So it would be nice if you can also set a setting that there is no defined width, it's an auto width. And then GreenShift just has to figure out how big it is. Let's keep it for this. All right. The next section will be our image. So as you can see, our image won't show. This is because we have a nice interaction layer. And the interaction layer thresholds when there's a this is where there's a observer placed, and the observer is 70% from the top, so around here, and then 0 to the left, 0 to the right, and 0 to the bottom. So this is our observer, and it observes what comes into our viewport. You can see this is within the 30% of our viewport, so it will fade this in, and this one is just input in the 30% of our viewport, so it will fade in. You will see the same thing happening for the other images. But this image doesn't do that, and that's because it isn't observed to be coming in our viewport. So I think we need to add another trigger. But which one can we add for those? Scroll distance. Should this be on load? But it's only for this image, right? We can also play around with the observer just to be 50% of the way. And that the top, and this is right, this is bottom. Bottom. Oh, darn it. This is very annoying. You can't undo it. This is what happens sometimes when there's something in the code and then it doesn't match up with what it expected and then it crashes. Would be nice if that would change. I hope I can now still change the interaction layer. So what we should do is just add in where we want it. So there we go. So now the observer is 30% of the bottom, and maybe we should set this to 40%. So that would be around here. Save. And maybe set this to 20. Refresh. Let's makes the animation a little bit nicer. So now we set our viewports to be 20% from the top and 20% from the bottom. And then an animation should happen. But one way or another, this one doesn't animate. So why is that? 70% threshold of 0. Should we set that to 0? Could also be that we break it last time with a clip path. That doesn't work. So let's see. 60.7. Last week we've noticed that when you're using a clip path with a polygon of 0% on the bottom corners, then it doesn't observe the image to be in viewport, which is very weird. Because we start at a very large scale and then it doesn't work properly. But I see that that isn't the case. So it should view right now. If we set this to 0, just let's see what happens, right? It doesn't work, so that's our clip off talking right now. Darn it. Refresh this. I was planning to do an hour stream and to finish up the the mobile version, but I guess it will either take longer, so perhaps I will do another stream next week. Because I'm feeling very ill actually. 20, then minus. That should work. My kids were sick last week, and I think I am getting sick or am sick right now as well. So my brain is also a little bit offset. Yes, there it is. So now it's working. We just had to increase our clip paths specifically for this image. I don't know why. So this will fix that. We can maybe play around a little bit because we have a very large view height, and perhaps on mobile phone it will be different. So let's try to increase it. Darn it. Have we increased it too much? And are the other ones also getting issues on small screens? This is so annoying with the interaction layers and the clip off. If somebody knows... Ooh, 4 people watching! A new record! Thank you all for joining. Amazing. Sorry, I'm very happy. I'm becoming a popular streamer. I'm kidding. But I love that you all joined. Let's see. 8.9. I just like to do fun stuff, and I like that. I'm just so humbled that so many people already joined. So many people, 4 people, but there's just 4 people giving up their time for doing something else just to watch me do stuff online. That's what I love. It's amazing. By the way, Resanda, I don't know if I pronounce your name right. If you need help with your webshop, just let me know. I'm curious to see what you have made actually for a small company. for the affiliate marketing website, I've also tried to use Rehab and WooCommerce. It didn't work out that well, if you ask me. This is a very annoying clip-off issue. And I don't know how to fix it. I don't know even how they fixed it. Oh, they actually did this differently. We should just copy that, right? And then make this also smaller. But I tried to use a rehop for... this is very annoying. So because we use the default paragraph, we can't set any changes in typography. Or does that do that automatically? Small. We should... Oh man, this is getting boring real quick. But perhaps we can do it like this. Just... Yes, I want to paste. Sorry, I was saying that I was using WooCommerce for creating an affiliate website, and I didn't like the extra load the WooCommerce plugin adds, so I ended up abandoning it and making a kind of review affiliate marketing website myself with custom post types and with custom connections using pods. If you don't know what pods is an ACF alternative, and it's free. So if you were looking to create custom post types or custom fields or whatsoever, you should use pods. Oh, and now they are in pull request number or URL. I don't know what the pull request number is or URL. I just want to try a new. Ooh, this is nice. So this is very, I'm sorry, a very great alternative to ACF, and it's free and it's very powerful. I used I used this one before ACF, and I was like, wow, ACF, you have to pay for it, and it has not a lot of features compared to pods. Pods is just way more powerful, but it doesn't have the nicest UI. But I think perhaps I should take a look at it, because they've released version 3. It's a shame. I really am wondering how it will how it looks. Let's see real quick. Muted. Yeah, so those are the more fields. There's a learning curve for GreenShift. Yes, you are correct. There's a big learning curve. If you want to do extensive things, if you want to do the normal things, I think you can just go by using using the most of the things you would use in any other page builder. I mean, the biggest learning curve is actually FSE and the Gutenberg, because that's different from what you're used to. If you're quite possibly using Elementor or the default old navigation theme style, and then yeah, I can understand there's a big learning curve. But if you just want to do the basic layout, it's quite similar to any other ones. That being said, I do think there can be an improvement on UX, so the user experience can be improved. I mean, if you're talking about interaction layers, like this one, why not make it easier to understand and what's actually happening? Let's see. I can give an example for just, I mean, I can understand you need to add a trigger, but what I didn't understand at first in the interaction layers is how the root margin would work. And it's only because I watched a video that I know how the root margin would work. But the interface could be the same as the margin you have in your general overview, because it works the same. But instead of a positive spacing, you will add a negative spacing. So why not use the same interface. I mean, that will, yeah, there are just some stuff that I think that would make it easier, but they also make it easier because of some presets, right? So that's nice. Let's see. We're busy with the boring stuff of copy and pasting the styles in there. So there we go. And let's change the amount viewed just a little. Let's see how that will look. Oh, nice. I think there's a lot of spacing between those. So we could fix that by changing the height of this one. Where does it get its height from? Does this one still have some spacing, slight spacing? Yeah, we can perhaps remove it to 0. And the padding and the bottom and top and bottom are also 0. There's no spacing set here. So is there a typography line height default? Yes, it's set to 1.5. This gets quickly be quite boring, but it's understandable. By the way, Resanda, if you have something to show, yeah, let me know, because I'm very curious on what you will create and what you have created. For your website for a small company was paid. I hope you get paid for it. Paste styles. Hopefully this will fix our spacing issue, which isn't a big issue, but then we don't have to go in and use negative margins. Paste styles, paste styles, paste styles. And if anyone else has something they would like to show for GreenShift, maybe we can do something next month, March or something, to show what other people have made as well using GreenShift. And it can be pure GreenShift, but it can also be not so pure GreenShift. I don't mind either way. Just curious what the community is up to. Just local. You'll send link when it's done. Awesome. Love to see it. Let's see. Yeah, that's way better. So that's fixed. That's fixed. This is still an issue, but there's a clip path issue and an interaction layer issue, which I do expect it isn't an issue if we look on mobile phone. So please bear with me. But we do have to fix that some way or another. Yeah, on mobile phone it is an issue. So as you can see. And if it isn't an issue on mobile, then I am very happy. Let's remove the padding for this one. Maybe let's set it. Whoa. We set it to. What was it? Was the wrong one. Let's change the view again. View site. No, I don't want a view site. Mobile. Change. Oh, the margin is set right to 0. Would be fine as well. And because this is smaller, we can just copy and paste it in here. Now you can also opt in to set up that it will be a CSS style, which I do recommend. But I'm feeling a little bit lazy today, so we're going to do it this way, the more elaborate way. It's going along quite nicely. Save. Now, because this looks very tiny now, perhaps we can still make this one a little bit bigger. Maybe a 0.5. I mean, it's better for hierarchy, so that you will see that the H2 is actually an H2 instead of looking just a little bit bigger than a button and text. It's because we can easily paste around our values. It doesn't matter that much. So there we go. Refresh the page again. We're getting there. So there is too little, I should say, spacing right here. So we just add a tiny bit of spacing on mobile. Good enough. To our story. I wonder how they set it up. Our story, paragraph, and then the button. So we need to change something in here in the CSS grid. Let's refresh because it looks like this is stuck. Loading, loading, loading. Oh, if you haven't seen, I've made a tutorial. It's 6 minutes long, and that's even adding a little bit of storytelling in there as well about creating this effect. And if you would like to recreate it yourselves, you can go to techies.review, add techies review, and then here we have our awards winning hover effect. This is me telling a little bit about it. And you will get a free starter setup. So I want to do that every time that you don't have to set up the boring stuff, the boring skeletons, and just get right into the fun part. And the fun part this time being creating the animation. So the scroll, the carousel will be in there. There will be a text, and we'll just be adding how to add the animation. And in the end of the YouTube video, and we'll put this in the chat as well. The chat. I've lost the chat. There we are. So there you can follow along with the tutorial, and then you can create it yourselves. And then you will be able to make... Wow, damn, the server is slow. And then you will be able to make this effect you see right here. It's actually what we are making in the tutorial as well. Can add even more delays. So there it is. It's loaded. Go back to the mobile version. Let's see. With the CSS grid, we can just change the grid. But we can't completely change the grid. Because this button isn't inside our grid, it's inside a separate container. Which is annoying. How can we do this properly? I really don't know for now. Ooh, the presets, the button presets. There's a lot of button presets. This is what I mean. I like the presets, don't get me wrong. But what I said in my previous stream, I don't need this amount of buttons. I just need a few, perhaps 2, maybe 3. One is my primary, one is the opposite of my primary, so my secondary, and quite possibly a third version as well. Oh, it would be nice if those presets were in here instead of these. Yeah, but let's try to fix this. I think we have to rethink a little bit how we will create this one. So I'm not going into that for now. Is our side scrolling issue gone? That's nice. All right. I think I have some bad news, and the bad news is that I'm feeling not quite good, and I'm pretty tired actually. So I'm going to go to bed. But now you have some kind of an idea on the first 3 or 4 sections. So you can improve the mobile friendliness for it. And next time we will take a look at this section for our story. Because the way they did it does make more sense. That you first have a title, a little text, and then do our story. So I will dissect and break down how they did that next time. And for now, just get better first. So that's it for this live stream. I didn't manage to get the whole page responsive, which I hoped I could do in 1 hour, but yeah, I was too much distracted, I guess. Just sharing the joy of web creation in the past. And what we did manage is to optimize a little bit for mobile friendliness. The first heading, the drive capital section, and the carousel. So 3 down, I would say. The nice thing is, by default, the navigation already has a mobile version, so we don't have to do much of that as well. And we've also looked into interaction layers. The interaction layers had some, the images have some interaction layers that wouldn't fire because of a certain threshold, but that isn't an issue on mobile phone, so that's fine as well. And next, we were looking at our story section just to see if we can optimize it and reorganize it. And the way we have set it up right now, we are not able to optimize it. So we're going to look into that next time. So I am sad, but also happy that we got so far. And thank you all for coming by and watching. And I will see you on the next one. Keep designing, and thank you for watching.